Welcome back to the Reality Receipts podcast starring me, Storytime with Rikkii.
And me, Realityreceiptspod. So we're on to a new Love is Blind now. Love is Blind Sweden we're going to talk about today.
Yes.
Have you watched any of the other countries before, or is this your first time?
So I did UK.
Yeah.
And then
that
I
one
did.
Was great.
Yeah, that one was really good. My man was on it. My man Freddie. Hi, boo, if you're watching.
Hi, Freddie.
And then I did Germany. So I did Germany was my first experience with the subtitles and the voiceover. And honestly, the voiceover on Germany was horrible compared to Sweden.
Really?
It was very, very hard to watch. This one was not bad. Not bad. I almost didn't notice that it was on, but Germany, I 100% noticed it was on. The subtitles weren't matching the words. It was horrible to the point where I guess the reunion didn't even have the voiceover. So I ended up not even watching the reunion. I covered the season, but I didn't watch the reunion. So if voiceovers is not your thing and you think that you're going to have a hard time watching Sweden, I can say that voiceovers are not my thing. And I did not have a hard time watching Sweden. It was an easy watch. How about you? Is this your first?
No, I watched the first season of Sweden, and I also did, I think, season 3 of Brazil. I usually post a lot of clips on my page, and so I sometimes watch it with not the dubbing, but just reading it if I have the time, to just sit and watch and read it. And that's better because then you're getting the emotions and the proper connotation for everything. So I prefer it that way. But when I was posting clips, if I posted clips in another, for Brazil it was Portuguese, then my algorithm would get all messed up. What language is this page? And then I would switch back, and so I had to dub it to post clips, and then people got very offended, and they would say, "Can't you read? Why are you dubbing our videos?" And so I was like, it's not worth it to me to do all this drama.
They yell at you about everything. Everybody has an opinion about something, and that's why I always say, and that was another thing about covering the other countries is culturally. There's obviously such a difference, so you never want to offend a culture. So so with Germany, I would be this is just my American ass opinion. So if you don't agree with my American ass opinion,
we're seeing it through our lens, right?
Yeah,
so it's hard, and I'm sure when people from other countries watch the American version, they are what is happening here?
Yeah, because I made a comment on Germany about how small their rings were. And I was like, oh my God, Netflix didn't have a budget? Jesus. And they were like, oh, it's not a thing in Germany to have big rings. It's actually very normal for you to have a little cute, quaint, little tiny stone. So I was like, oh, okay, well,
modest.
Good to know. Yeah, so there were certain little things. I'm like, do y'all do that out there? I don't know. Shit.
I can't remember if it was Sweden or Brazil. I think it was Sweden last time where I think one of the women proposed to the men. And so, but I think that some of my followers said that was common there. Not common there.
No.
But
Hell no. I'd rather count sand on the beach. Hell no.
I think they said it happens, but I could totally be remembering wrong. So don't quote me on that. But I think that it was Sweden where that happened. So it's sometimes we point out things oh, what's happening here? But then the people that actually live in the country are that, what do you mean? That's just normal. So it's interesting. It provides a whole other layer of commentary because, we're seeing it from a different lens watching it from here. But I feel it's still really relatable, no matter where you're watching
I heard Love is Blind Habibi was really good. Everybody asked me to cover that one, and I thought it was really cute that I had a lot of people when I did Germany oh my God, they were reposting and be oh my God, this American TikToker's covering a show from Germany. And I'm you guys love me or something, or what's going on here?
That's how I felt about the people when they got upset about me dubbing videos. But I was don't you find it like they were offended about it, which I mean, their language was much more beautiful than our boring English one, so I understand. But also, to me, if I lived there, like if we see people posting the American one in other countries and in their own language, I just think that's cool. Like, oh, more people are watching it. Like, all these other countries are getting into it. So I didn't understand why they got so upset. Not everybody, but enough people were like not a fan of the dubbing. So now I'm so happy we can talk about it because I don't have to post clips and we can. Yeah, it doesn't matter what language it's in. So
I'm just gonna preface it and be like, this is my American ass opinion. It's not intended to offend anyone. And look, it's my American standpoint, and this is how I view it. If you don't agree with it, then oh well. Like, I don't.
And we'll apologize in advance for the name butchering if there is any. I feel like we will do okay, but just in case we don't. Yeah. Sometimes when you read it, then you pronounce it the way that you think it is instead of the way you've heard them say it. Just because it depends on how you learn things, but for me, I always see it in my head, so that's always tricky when you're just reading it the way you think it is. Like with poor Lino, we really messed his up a lot. Which is not even a hard name. It's 4 letters.
It's the easiest name, actually. So I
don't know what happened there.
It was like Linnea. He just wasn't memorable. I'm just kidding. But I know there's
speaking of.
Yeah, speaking of Temptation Island, even though it's done, we didn't get a reunion, then we thought we were going to get a reunion, then we're not getting a reunion, now we're getting a podcast type reunion, allegedly.
Apparently, yeah, that's what, I can't remember, what cast member said that? I think a few of them have posted saying that they're all going
Grant did,
on a podcast. Yeah, it was Grant. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he posted saying that they were all the couples are going to do a podcast together, so... But he said he can't say who it is yet, so we don't know what podcast.
So similar, I interviewed Hashim on TikTok Live on Friday, and he said the same thing. Like, he was like, oh, I'll give you that. Like, he was like, yeah, all the couples are doing something. And then he was like, and I'm doing a podcast that comes out Wednesday, but I can't tell you what podcast. It's top secret. I'm like, okay.
So the same podcast?
I don't know. Totally I assumed that the couples are doing an in-studio type deal, and maybe Hashim or the singles maybe pop in on a Zoom or something. I don't know. That was just my assumption, but it seemed as though it was the same podcast because he had this same you're not going to believe who it is. I think you guys are going to be shocked. I don't know.
Yeah, you'd think it must have something to do with Netflix in some capacity. I don't think they would just let them go on some unrelated podcast and spill all this tea when they never did a reunion for them. So the only ones I can think of would be the receipt one that Netflix does, which they're hyping it up so much, it doesn't sound like it would be that one.
Right.
Or maybe AD's podcast, because we know that's affiliated with Netflix. I don't know if it's affiliated with Netflix or Kinetic, but I think it's all the same umbrella.
It's all one umbrella, yeah. I if I had to guess, I would guess AD's podcast because it's new, it's doing well. I think she's a good host. I think that she would be able to handle the 4 couples. And I think that, or I would think the Vow Files, but I think if Netflix is trying to have their own popular podcast, I don't think they would give something so big like this. Basically this is the Temptation Island reunion to Nick Viall. So maybe I think I think you're right.
Yeah, it does seem like they're trying to get away from that. They've still done a few interviews this season, but they were kind of quick little Zoom ones. Lately, before this season, we were getting the big going deeper with a cast member, and they didn't do that this season. Right,
and they were all in LA, and they could have. So
yeah, it definitely seems like they're pivoting away from Nick to AD. So that makes the most sense. I think you're right. So I'm surprised we didn't get any teasers today, but maybe tomorrow. I guess 24 hours out, they usually post something about it. So We'll recap that for you guys if we see it. So
the cast has been relative. They've still been going with their mild tea, but I think in the last episode we covered the gist of it. In my interview with Hashim, I think the only tea that really came out, or like that he said in the interview, which I need to rewatch it and I have to clip it and post it, was that, you know, he said that Brian DM'd him. So I thought that was tea, like, because I asked if he's spoken to Brian. He said that Brian DM'd him. He said it was a very nice DM, that he was very kind to him. He was, like everything was copacetic. I did see that Brian like kind of left an aggressive comment on Hashim's page that was like, don't get it effed up or don't get it twisted or something like that. And then Hashim made a video responding to the comment. It was like, imagine getting aggressive comments and you're just a matcha guy. So like he kind of like made a joke about it. But in my interview, Shantae and Brian were both in the chat. And so people were like, kind of go like, Brian's in here, Shantae's in here, and then like Brian, like, because I think Hashim said something like he likes a girl that's like very confident, has like an aura about her, like when you walk into the room, she's just like, you know, everyone's looking at her. And I guess like Brian took that as like implying that Shantae doesn't have an aura about her, so he hopped in the chat and was like, Shantae's got an aura, like, you know. And it's like everybody's attracted to like a different aura, like an aura for, you know, whatever, somebody that you like might not be the same, you know? So, but I did notice, what I will say is I do think that Hashim's tone kind of switched up once he realized Brian was in the chat. Because when Brian was in the chat, I guess some new tea that came out that we didn't cover on our episode last week was that Angel, the girl that Brian was giving the massage to, said that Brian wrote his phone number on a piece of paper and gave it to her as she was leaving the house.
Oh man.
So that's kind of tea, right? Because like, why would you be giving, like, if, like, what you need her number for?
Yeah, because he seems to be like, I saw him on the Love and Reality podcast today, and he was kind of blaming the edit and saying he's not really like that, and it was for the TV show. So yeah, if you're giving out your phone number to stay in contact with these women after the show, that's not really giving just for TV. That's like, like you're trying
to keep it going after the show. And so I asked Hashim that, like, while I knew Brian was in the chat, because I was like, well, Brian, can you tell us all, because I actually was trying to get Brian to come up, but but he got like blocked on live, so he couldn't. And I tried to send him a request and I couldn't. So he really was blocked. He wasn't lying. And I said, well, Brian, like, do you want to tell us why you gave Angel your phone number? And like the chat was silent. And then Shantae was in there too when I said it. And then I asked Hashim, I was like, oh, like, do you think that that's fishy that Brian gave Angel his phone number? And Hashim was like, no, like, tone change 100%. Like, no, like, I think it's fine. Like, everybody was staying in contact. Everybody was like giving each other their phone numbers. Like, I don't think it was anything like salacious behind it. He didn't say salacious, but he was like, and I'm like, oh boy. And I literally was like, well, I do. Like, I think it was an ill intent. And you know,
what would you need her phone number for? Like, that's giving Joey reaching out to Madison just to say hi. It's like, that's not there's no
I like to check on people. Like, okay, sir.
You only check on the hot girls, so there's something weird going on there. Like, that's a little bit odd. But she stays making excuses for him. So
I agree. And I have, like, little birdies have been telling me little things about Brian that, you know, that the threesome thing has been his thing for a long time. Like, it's not just something that's like a Shantae thing. It's little birdies have been telling me stuff. Nothing's confirmed yet, so I won't speak on it. But if I do get anything confirmed, you know, we'll spill it here first and we'll tell you guys. But Brian did actually message me. He sent me like a really nice message, saying that he loves that I found a lane that people love and support, and he would love
He's buttering you up.
Oh yeah, he's like a biscuit, bitch. Okay, like he is like a buttering me up. Like, he's like, it was like a super nice message.
Like a biscuit or like a yam.
Both, bitch. You put butter on both. Like, because he's like, I'm just so proud of you that, like, you found a lane that, like, you know, people love and, like, that works for you. And I love supporting Black creators and I love supporting Black women. You know what I mean? And I think for me, the implication there is, like, You're black, I'm black, we should support each other.
Support us.
And that is like, I love supporting, you know, the black community or whatever, but I really do, like, I don't know, I'm getting off topic here, but I know that AD had made a clip about how, you know, she didn't feel supported by her community on her season, and I really just don't like that narrative of like, because we're all a part of the same community that we have to support like your BS, like because I call out anyone's BS. I don't care, man, woman, child, color, shape, size, like I don't care, like I'm gonna call out your BS. So I feel like the implication there was like, oh, like, you know, I support black like I support black women, so like go easy on me because like I'm a black man. And it's like, oh hell no, Breon, you went on TV and act a whole fool, like I'm gonna call you out on it. So I do feel like he was buttering me up a little bit. He's like, yeah, like I would love to support, like me and Shantae would love to, you know, talk to you. You know what I mean? Like trying to, I feel like it
dangling the carrot.
Dangling the carrot, like, sure, like, I'm gonna get back to you. I get our schedule on Sunday, which is yesterday. I haven't heard from him, so I'll let you know when we could talk to you. Like, you know what I mean? Because obviously that's a big deal to talk to him and Shantae. They haven't publicly spoken together, but it seems like they will on Wednesday. Yeah. So I felt like it was a little ploy, I'm not gonna lie, to like
a little manipulative.
It was a little ploy to be like, whatever tea may come your way, remember, like I might give you an interview, because I swear to you, after I got that message, I received like 2 messages with some like tea on Breon, you know, but you know how we feel about anonymous tea, like it's hard to spill when people want to stay anonymous, and it's like you're making some serious accusations. Like I can't be the one to say that. Like you have to be the one to say that. I can't, you know. So that's what I'm dealing with right now. But a tea is brewing with Breon, so I'll just leave it there.
Like that's not fair of him to do, because you can't watch the show and see everything that happened and then say, okay, I'll just support you because of whatever reasons. Like you are just reacting off what we're seeing, and it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't matter, man, woman, whatever is happening. We have to call him out for that, and he shouldn't be surprised, you know, like he talked about threesome. He had a threesome. We're gonna talk.
You talked about having another threesome with 2 more girls on the show. Like
you got girls' phone numbers. Like,
like you're giving out your phone number, and then he does have an one ex who's been posting some videos online. And I seen one of them today. I sent it to you. But she's not saying anything. But in the video, what I thought was interesting was that she said, oh, we're still friends. I just talked to him yesterday. Everyone ate her up in the comments. Like, girl, that's where you lost us. Like, what do you mean you're still friends? And a little birdie told me that Breon, after the show, or once he filmed the show, tried to make amends with all of his exes. Like, he hit up all his exes and tried to make amends with them.
Damage control.
To make, damage control, to make sure that none of them said anything bad about him. But,
it's not working, I guess.
It's not working.
That is smart, though, you know? Like, that's what they should all be doing, because some of these people have such crazy things in their past, and they think it's not going to come out, but it always does, so.
Right. And to think that I'm not going to spill it because you dangle an interview in front of me. I'm sorry, like, that's a big deal. Like, but, like, also, once you, like, do an interview with AD, and she asks you all the questions, and you and Shantae speak together, like, what do I need an interview for after that? Like, as long as they ask the right questions, unless they don't ask the right questions, that's the only reason why I would be like, okay, well, let me get in there and ask what people really want to know that's not, like, censored or unedited. But I'm going to assume that AD is going to do her job and ask the appropriate questions. So, like, there's not going to be anything left on the table afterwards. So I'm like...
Yeah, there's only so much they can say at this point. I mean, we have a few questions, but... You know, I don't think they need to do more than a couple interviews, and all of the tea will be spilled. So, we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, like we said, AD, if it is a Netflix podcast, they are following certain narratives. But I think when it comes to a show like Temptation Island, where it's like the cast is supposed to be messy, you know, no one's really, they're not married couples. They don't really have very much to protect there. So I think they're not really like, I don't think anything's off limits. I think she can ask anything and they can say anything. And it's not like the Love is Blind interviews where it's like kind of have to protect certain people and go on a narrative. So it could be good. I think she'll do a good job.
Yeah, I think
if
so
it is
too.
her.
Yeah, if it is her, I think so too. I think so. We'll see. I'll keep you guys posted if anything comes of the Bion tea brewing.
That'll be a long podcast. So they have all 4 couples, so 8 people. That's a lot to talk about. Like, that's just a reunion. I don't know why they didn't. It's do a reunion.
Yeah, but I feel like Lino and Alexa, it's gonna be like. Whoosh, 2 minutes there.
When's the wedding?
When's the wedding? Oh, lovely. You guys are still together. Great. Bye. And then the tea is really going to be, when you think about it, it's really going to be on Taylor, Grant, and Ashley, and then Bion and Shantae. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think of people being so forgiving of Ashley taking Grant back, but people not being so forgiving of Shantae taking Bion back? Because the text messages of Ashley, like, begging Grant back, like, went viral. Like, they're everywhere. And like, there's a lot of support for Ashley in the comments, not saying that there shouldn't be, but I just feel like Shantae did the same thing. So what's the difference? Because Grant showed his whole behind too on TV.
True. He did. But also it feels like Bion was, I don't know, he's more like honest with Shantae about like, this is who I am and I like the threesomes, and he hasn't really changed at all. And I think with Grant and Ashley, he was like saying like that he's going to be different. I don't know. It's not really that different, I guess.
I think it's not that different.
I think
the only difference is Grant did it with one person. He was not remorseful or regretful because he kept doing it. Bion did it with 2 people. He wasn't regretful, but I think that towards the end of the season, we did see him show remorse, and we did see him show regret, and we did see him say, I'm going to change. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to, he's crying. I'm going to be emotional. I'm going to make all these changes. The same thing Grant did.
But he did get the phone number then. So that makes me feel like all that was just BS, because if he's getting girls' phone numbers, he's still thinking about what he's going to do after the show. If he contacted her. I don't know what happened, but I think it just comes down to people have a hard time with stuff that happens off screen, right? So we saw her take him back on the show. So that's what people are attached to. And Ashley didn't take him back on the show. So it's like all that stuff, and even all the text messages that get shown, it's harder for people to accept that that's what happened, Because they didn't see it. It happened after.
Yeah, like I think because I was like
we didn't see a single moment of Shantae standing up to Bion or like telling him off. We kind of
did. We've seen her be like, I'm going to choose myself. And then she did it.
That's true.
I think that was worse actually, because in that moment I thought, oh yes, like she's not going to leave with him. And then she did. And now Hashim did share with me that, because I said, well, what advice were you giving her? Because we hear her say, thank you for your brutally honest advice. He said that he told her, like, whatever you do, don't leave the show with him. Like, even if you get back with him after, like, you will be, like, the most celebrated, praised person if you just don't leave the show with him. Or you can, like, mic drop moment and leave the show with me, even though we're not going to be together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he gave her advice and told her, like, you can be, like, that B if you, like, leave the show alone, even if you get back with him after. And
I think I think that's the one little difference where it's like she couldn't even for a moment say, I'm not leaving with you. Even if she folded right when they left or right after the cameras went down, she was too scared to even say no for a moment because she thought she might lose him, right? Whereas Ashley, even if it was performative, she did say no and sort of like told Grant off. So it was like she at least had like some idea of getting rid of him, even if she folded right after. But she stood on business for like half a second.
I mean, and I think you're right. I think it's that component of like she's scared to even let him go for a moment. Like she thinks she has this like prize that she has to hold on to, and it's like even if I let him go for a day, who knows what the hell he's gonna do in that day? He can go find somebody else. He can, I could lose him in that day. So I think that like fear of like actually losing him versus Ashley. Ashley claims that she let Grant go for a few months and he came back around after a few months. He says it's a few weeks, whatever. And then Taylor didn't really stand on business.
They did the same thing.
Nobody stood on business. But nobody's talking about Taylor and Ashley not standing on business. But people are floored Shantae didn't stand on business.
Bion did actually bring that up in the interview I listened to today on Love and Reality. He did say, like, they had their TV moment of saying no and leaving alone or not leaving with him, and then went back right after. And that just because Shantae didn't do that, you know, she's not being treated the same. So he did call it like a TV moment where he didn't believe that they were really rejecting these guys, and he was right because they went back. So.
Yeah, you know, now like everything's coming back to me in my interview with Hashim. He also said that he thinks that Bion and Shantae planned this, like that it was like, yeah, like of course that's speculation. Like he wouldn't know that for sure, but you know, he said that they both went into the show with like a motive, which I think everyone who goes on reality TV has some sort of motive, right?
Yeah.
Because Bion jumped into my comments and was like, how many videos? At first, when he jumped in my comments, he was like, how many videos you're going to do on me? And I was like, I've literally only done 2. Relax. This is before he sent his This was before he sent his nice message. I was like, I've only done 2. Relax. Yeah. You don't want me to do the ones I'm planning on doing. Trust me. Okay.
Yeah, we're just getting started.
You don't want me to share what I've heard. Okay. I'm just trying to verify it. And then he was like, but I'm not trying to be a celebrity. He said that in my comments. And I was like, well, you kind of are. You went on reality TV. And so... No one does that. Yeah, like you don't just do it. He was like, I have a real corporate job. Like, this is all stuff he's saying in my comments. And I was like, good for you. Glad for you. Great for you. You still went on reality TV
internet.
to gain something. You went on reality TV to gain something. What that is, I don't know. I think Shantae went on to promote her Pilates because she does Pilates. And I asked, you know, Hashim, like, he was like, that he heard through the grapevine that it was a plan. It was a plan that whatever happened on Temptation Island, they were going to stay together regardless. And it was like a plan to like cause some ruckus, like to be the most talked about couple on the island. So
the threesome actually happened.
That's what Alex said. Now, in my interview with Hashim, he kept making implications. Like, he kept saying stuff like, we don't know what happened in the bathroom.
Right.
We didn't see it. There was a camera in Grant's bathroom, but there was no camera in Brion's bathroom. And he was like, I was like, well, we heard the wet slapping.
Yes. I wonder,
we heard the wet slapping. We heard the moans. And Alex said it happened. And he was like,
I wonder if the 3 of them were like, this is how we become like the main storyline of the show, and let's just pretend. But like for Bion to not think, like, I guess maybe they just wanted the fame at all costs. Some people might not like them, because how would you think having this threesome was gonna make you liked at all? Like, you're not gonna get what,
you know what, Ashley, just like hit me right now, like just what you said, like maybe the 3 of them went in that bathroom, and maybe that's the lie he told Shantae. Like, I didn't really do it. Like, he's not gonna say that on camera, but he probably told her, like, I didn't really do it. Like, we just like went in there and made sound. And I told her to moan, and we didn't really do it.
That's kind of what I think.
That's what you were. Yeah. But I think you think it really happened.
I don't know. Like, I could go either way. I'm just wondering, like, obviously they knew they had to do something wild to get to be the main storyline. So faking a threesome, but now they're getting a lot of backlash. So as long as, like, then it's hard to see them on the internet complaining about the backlash when you planned that out. So it's like, if you wanted to be the main storyline, you know you had to do something dramatic, and you have to kind of deal with the backlash then. Yeah. So I don't know.
I have heard that threesomes are Bion's thing. It's not the first time he's done them. Yeah. It's not the first time he's asked for them in relationships. So that seems consistent. And he has had them in the past, allegedly. But like the fact that you would go on Temptation Island and just find 2 girls that are down. Yeah. I mean, Alex saying that it happened makes sense because she is an SW, you know, and she's using it as a way to promote her OF, her OnlyFans. So that would make sense for her. My mind is blown. Like, I know. Did they come up with this just to be the main storyline? Ashley!
I mean, even if they didn't, maybe that's just what he's telling Shantae. Like, maybe he was like, I'm going to pretend to have a threesome with some girls, and then he told her they pretended, but they really did. But I feel like I'm leaning more towards it's just they just set that up for the attention. So there's no way to know because there's no camera. But
why wasn't there a camera in the bathroom? Like, why was there a camera in Grant's bathroom?
Yeah, that's very fishy. We need the producers to explain this more. Or maybe the camera.
What slapping would there have been? Like, what are we just like?
Maybe they had like a towel or something.
And Alex also said that it wasn't her moaning, so obviously there's an implication that it was Courtney moaning. But I would think that if I was getting that much backlash and everybody was calling me a 304, I know Alex was like, I am a 304. Like, she literally was like, I am a 304. Like, I'm an SW.
Yeah, she doesn't care. And
but I would come out and be like, I didn't even do it. Like, we didn't even really do it.
See, Alex is smart, and that's what you have. Like, if you went in, you planned this for the attention, then that's the attitude you have to have. And I think that's smart of her because people are not going so hard on her, I don't think, because they're like, what else can you say? She's like, yeah, I did it. Like,
I caught a live of hers, and she was like saying, people were asking like, oh, was it good? And she was like, I'll just say that I was the last one to join and the first one to leave. Whatever that means. So I don't know.
She dipped in and dipped out, I guess. So.
Yeah. And it's like, why were you guys in there till the morning time? Like, how long can one do it? I don't know.
Yeah. It would get cold probably. For what? Maybe there is a camera.
Water heater. I don't know.
Yeah.
There has to be camera footage. Like,
maybe there was a camera, but it was too X-rated to show. So
we need to see the behind the scenes footage.
We want blurred out footage. Yeah, we want to know exactly what was happening because. Yeah, this is sounding a little fishy now.
It's sounding fishy because that actually just when I just said that about Hashim, like that just made me think like because he implicated it. Like I think it was planned and whatever happened on the island, they were going to stay together and he thinks that. But when I said planned, I didn't even think about it from your perspective of like it didn't actually happen. They just planned to like be the most talked about.
Planned it for the
What do you guys tell us? What you guys think? You guys think that this was planned, that they did it for the attention, that it, tell us what you think. Did it happen? Did it not happen?
Or did it happen and they just told Shantae it didn't happen? Because it is hard to imagine she can just be so, like, whatever about it. So that would be the only logical explanation, that she knows it didn't happen or she thinks it didn't happen. Because she's been way too chill
And that's why she wasn't. That's why she was. But the thing that the thing that I'm thinking is that they didn't have any communication. So there was no way, like, okay, yes, we have this plan. Like, I'm going to do something shocking in the house. So whatever you hear that I did, like, just, not have a reaction to it. But he had no way to know that he was going to be able to find two girls that would be down to even fake it. You know what I mean?
But I think the fact that we didn't actually see anything, like with the other people, we saw them kissing and holding hands and like touching. And this was the one where it was like they were in the bathroom. We heard things, but she never actually saw with her eyes him kissing someone or like touching someone.
Kiss anybody, huh?
No. So he was, besides this threesome, he was behaving pretty well. So maybe that's why she wasn't upset, because she was like at least telling herself it didn't really happen. That was just
or Brian telling her it didn't happen. It was just the plan.
Because she didn't actually see anything happen. So it would be easy to tell yourself that was just not real. So we'll get to the bottom of this.
For him to tell her it wasn't real too.
Yeah.
And that's what Hashim kept saying. We didn't see it happen. We didn't see it happen. And I was like, well, Alex said it happened. And he was like, well, we didn't see it happen. I'm like, well, we heard wet slap. Hashim was definitely implying that it did not happen.
Yeah. Well, the one that would crack, I feel like, is Courtney, because I feel like she's not really on board with the whole scheme anymore. So
it didn't benefit her. It didn't benefit them at all. Like,
no, I don't think it was a good plan. So I saw she's posting some TikToks, but I think it was only like part 2 out of a lot of parts coming. So we'll maybe wrap that up on our next episode. So.
Okay. Well,
we get to Love is Blind Sweden?
Yes, let's do it. I'll try and give people a timestamp for nobody who cares about Temptation Island anymore.
I know. yeah, it's hard to go back and forth from different shows, but there's just so much going on and there's more shows coming, but we'll get to that. So
yes. Okay,
what
Temptation
do you think?
Listen,
Yeah.
Temptation Island. No, Temptation Island
It's
is
just
Love
it's
is
just running
Blind.
in our head.
Sweden.
Season 2. So
Season 2.
I'm loving it. Like, I feel like, especially like the same thing with the UK one, that what the US one is kind of missing now is the people being like a little bit more real and genuine about how they feel. I feel like the USA one now, they're very much thinking about how it's gonna look, right? And like, that's how we got Sarah and Ben all the way to the altar, like not liking each other because neither of them wanted to be the bad guy or like say how they really thought about things because they knew how it was going to look.
Right.
And I think that in the other countries, they don't care about that as much. They're not thinking about the airing of the show. They're actually there to find love and they're like figuring out if that's going to work or not.
Right.
So.
Right. I liked that there were only 3 pod episodes. I feel
Yes.
like really only, or kind of like 2.5 pod episodes. Like, you know what I mean? So I felt like the pod time was good. 6 episodes was insanely wild to me. And I liked that. I also like that. Okay. How do I say this in a nice way? They were like everyday looking people. You know
I
what
told
I
you
mean?
this every season, like on the USA when people come in the comments like, oh nice, there's average looking people, and it's like there's no nice way to say that at all. So but,
yes, there were very normal, which I feel like Minneapolis had very average looking people as well, but I think like generally what we've seen on Love is Blind is like you don't see 2 people that are just like completely like you know what I mean, like there's gonna be an attraction there because overall like they're generally attractive people, you know.
I mean everyone looked, especially on Minneapolis, they like similar a level of attractiveness, like everyone was attractive, so it's nice to see a little bit more of like a mixture. And it's nice to see that. Well, we'll get to that, but they don't seem to talk about how they look at all in the pod. Right. So they're very surprised when they see their person.
Right. Which, I think in the US we're starting to see them like, oh, well, like, how tall are you? Like, you know, trying to get, or like, oh, my, like something to implicate what they look like or what their family members look like. So it does seem like.
And they're celebrity lookalikes, which never goes well, but they still keep doing it.
Never.
But I didn't get the feeling that they like shared any of that stuff. So it felt more like the way that the experiment should be, a little bit more real. So
okay, so let's get into like some of the couples and like your thoughts.
You want to start with Millie and Ola? What do you think about? What do you think about Ola? I mean, he's older than I think anyone ish that we've had on the show. Yeah, so.
I think Ola is weird. I think he's so fucking weird. Like, what I have written down about him, these are my notes. Ola, 42, looks old as fuck.
Tell us how you really feel.
Looks old AF, needs a new haircut, has a lot of teeth. Taking a sabbatical. And taking a sabbatical equals you ain't got no job. Stop drinking coffee. What does that have to do with the damn job? Quite strange. The Rock comment when he hid the Rock. When he hid the Rock, it was like, the Rock doesn't want to talk anymore. The Rock is hiding itself. I said quite strange.
Quite.
Yoga weirdo / secret murderer.
Oh man!
My God, those were my notes on my unfiltered, uncensored notes on Ola.
He does have the crazy eyes. You know, we see that pop up sometimes on this show. So his eyes give a little crazy, and Yeah, I mean, I guess the unemployed men is all countries and not just in the U.S. because they have them there too. But
Check it out. I'm taking a 6-month sabbatical that's turning into a year, and then he started talking about the things he's given up, like because he wants clarity. I'm like, so what the hell does that have to do with the job?
or finding love. That's your own personal journey. That's not what we're doing here. So I love someone. I can't remember who, but someone asked him if he was a fuckboy, and he looked like shocked about that. I'm like, I think he's too old for that.
He didn't know what it meant. I do think that a different haircut would like really serve him well. Mm-hmm. I don't think his haircut is doing him any favors. Like,
no, it's probably just like outdated, I guess, because he's a bit older. So
okay. But speaking of haircuts, what do you think of Millie? Like, what do you think of Millie?
Millie, I mean, he cannot get over the haircut, which it's like really hard for him. That's why I'm like so shocked, because I feel like if it was the USA version, they would talk about that because they would be nervous to just surprise someone like that. And so it definitely doesn't seem like that came up at all when they were talking. So do you think, she was in like the triangle with Ola and was it
Oscar,
yes, Oscar. So do you think Oscar would have been a better fit for her, or do you think he would feel the same about the hair?
I think, okay, here's my thing about short haircuts. Like, short haircuts can be seen as masculine. I get why he said they can be seen as masculine, but to pull off a short haircut, in my opinion, you got to be a baddie, like a bad beat, like Amber Rose. Like Amber Rose was like bald, for goodness sake. Like, who can pull off being bald? So I think like, if there's a certain aesthetic that goes with it, like you're like super done up, like beat face, like, super stylish, like it kind of goes, it's like a trendy, like Rihanna. Like Rihanna, I think, had that same haircut as Millie, and it worked for her. Not to say it doesn't work for Millie. I personally think the haircut ages Millie a little bit. It makes her look a lot older than she actually is, because I think Millie's 32. So in my opinion, it ages her a bit. It gives her like big auntie vibes. And I mean, I think it looks good on her. Like he should have Millie's haircut, because I think Millie's haircut would work on him. Like, my hair's longer than you.
Yes, he keeps saying that, and it's like, well, maybe you should make your hair shorter then if you're worried about that.
I think her haircut would work on Ola, but I don't think that she can be mad at him for having a preference of like a hairstyle, and he can't be mad at her for like a preference on how she wants to wear her hair. But I did think it was really rude of him to say at the end of episode 4, because we only got to episode 4, you guys. We're gonna do
we're just 5, doing 1 to 4.
Yeah, we're gonna do 5, 6, and 7 later. I think it's really rude that she like straight up asked him, like, so you can't get to a point where you say I'm beautiful yet because of my hair? And he was like he was like brutally honest and was like, no, I can't. Like, but to answer your question, no, I don't think Oscar would have been a better fit for her. I think that Oscar and Alicia, we'll get to them, I think they're a better fit, but I also think Oscar's strange. Yeah. But then I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Because it seemed like Millie and Ola, until we got to the end of episode 4, it seemed like they were attracted to each other. Like, they were going in for a lot of kisses. They were snuggling. Like, he told her she looked great, like, at the reveal. So,
yeah, he seemed really into her at the reveal. So I was like, because I did wonder, like, what's he going to think about her hair? Because it is hard to pull off for some people, and it is more of like a rare thing that we see on women, and so it's like a preference, right? So it's like he might not like it, he might like it, and then he seemed to like it and like her at the reveal. They had a good reveal, so I was like, he doesn't even think about it, and then it came up after a few days, so that was strange. But he just I think the whole point of the show is like, if you're just seeing someone on the street and that might not be the haircut you go for, you wouldn't like approach them. But now you've already like got to know this person on the inside and you love them and you got engaged to them. So it's like, can you get over the hair? So you think it wouldn't be a big deal once you like love them, but the physical, that's the whole point of this, is like how important is that physical part. So
right, and it's like hair is such an easy fix, you know what I mean? Like she can grow it out at any second, although it doesn't seem like she's going to, because she says she's had a short haircut since she was a little girl. It just seems like such an easy fix. But I personally don't think that Millie really liked Ola all that much either. Like she was trying so hard to get away from him that she ran and gave Nicholas, that's his name, right? Or no, Oscar a chance. She ran and gave Oscar a chance, even though they had that weird first date. And then it was like she was trying to get away from Ola by any means necessary, and she just Oscar dissed her, so she went back to Ola. Like I found their pod conversation really interesting when she was like, I just want to make sure you're not a weirdo. Like she literally was like, I want to make sure like you're not a weirdo, but like he's a weirdo. Like she should have trusted her first instinct. And not to say that like all spiritual people are weird, but like that rock comment, and then when he was like laying on the couch, like just everything's coming out, like that kind of stuff, like really
it's a bit,
gives me the ick. And then he's like hugging with him, and the guy in the lounge were hugging, and like the other guy was like crying. I was like, what the is happening?
It's like more of a spiritual retreat than
I don't like it. Like I don't like it. Like a little spirituality, like whatever. I'm a church girly, I'm a Christian, like I love Jesus, but like all of this like be one with the wind and like paints with all the colors of the wind. Like I'm like no. Like it's very like what's the you didn't watch Love is Blind Germany, but there was a guy from Love is Blind Germany that was very like
similar.
I don't know how to explain it. I just did this. Like, you know what I mean? Like very like eclectic, I guess.
Yes. Eclectic is a good word for it.
Yeah.
But
did you find it to be a little strange?
Yeah, like I did not see that coming. I thought Millie was kind of over him and had moved on to Oscar, and I didn't think that she was going to get engaged to him. So like they did what we were hoping they were going to do on the US version, where it's like she went with her second choice. So that is nice, because then we get to see them interact with their first choice later on, which is good for the show. But yeah,
I wish they would have showed Sarah and Joey's connection. That was his second choice, and then all that too.
Yeah,
but that would have been good too.
I know they left out that whole part, because that's part of the show, is like, was someone else that you connected with a better match for you? So yeah, I was shocked that she even got engaged. I think someone said something at one point of like, if I don't propose to you, I'm going to end up going home. And like, so that was interesting. Like they were thinking about the fact that like, if they don't get engaged, they're not going to be on the show. So they maybe aren't like as genuine as we think, but they do seem a lot more genuine to me, at least. But
they seem more genuine than the US, but at the end of the day, nobody's going on a reality TV show without hoping to gain some type of, especially there's a guy on there that was an actor this season. Who was that? I don't remember who it was, but there was somebody on there that like literally was like, I quit my job to be an actor, but on a TV show trying to find love. I didn't write his name down.
He's acting on Love is Blind. Some of their jobs, the jobs, because I guess they're written in Swedish, are so funny. Like this one I wrote down was like Global Investorings Controller. I'm like, what is that? I gotta look that up, because it sounds so much cooler in Swedish, but I'm like, what? Maybe it's not Swedish, but their jobs were interesting. But yeah, so
do you think Millie and Ola are going to last?
No, I don't think he's going to be able to get over the short hair. He seems very upset about it.
We've seen it even in the previews for the next batch of episodes, even though we know the next batch of episodes is out. But give us a break. There's a lot going on.
They have to keep dropping all these like more than one episode with, so we got to catch up. But
it seems like it even was coming up then. Like
well, and it's sad because they do seem like to have a good connection besides the hair thing. So he seemed to like her besides that. So I don't know if it just didn't hit him right away or what. But I don't think they stand a chance. So
yeah, I agree. They're not going to make it.
No. Yeah. So what couple do you want to talk about next?
Let's do
Alicia and Oscar. Yeah. Since we were just talking about Oscar, we might as well keep talking about him. But
What do you think of Oscar?
There's some interesting men, which is funny because I actually had someone reach out and say that Swedish, like this just came from a follower, so I don't know how true it is, but they said Swedish men, this is like a good representation of them. They're like a little bit offstandish and yeah, like
okay.
So yeah, that's what they said it's like there. So they thought that the show was showing the country's men well, or not well.
So
but
Oscar is the one that like made little awkward, weird jokes whenever.
Yeah, he was making the dad jokes. Yeah,
oh God.
Yeah, his reveal. I thought their reveal was really good. I thought that they seemed like a good match, but then. Yes. As the like honeymoon went on, it definitely started showing some cracks. And like when she said, your face doesn't really show your emotions very well, and I think she's having like a hard time connecting with him. So, which is funny because in the pods he seemed more outgoing. So right. Maybe just being in the pod helped him to be a little bit more out of his shell, and now that they're in the real world.
And he did say that he was socially awkward. I remember him saying that at one point, that he's socially awkward. Yeah. They seemed attracted to each other. They really did. Like there seemed like there was a physical attraction. I think both of them are like really good looking, but he's strange.
Was she the one that said she wasn't wearing panties? That was Alicia, right?
Yep. That was her. Like very like they had like a very sexual energy because remember he asked her for the pajama jam and told her not to wear anything underneath.
Yeah, they seemed she said he was her type, like embarrassingly so. So like first meeting they seemed
really good. I thought they're for sure clapping cheeks on the first night. I thought that. I don't know if they did because nobody asked. Like Dave, like
we needed Dave there.
We needed Dave there to like ask everyone if they slept together. And then it's like you see him kind of like shut down in a sense. Like you see him kind of like, because at first I was like, oh, they're cute. Like they're very cute together. And then who was it that seemed like he was hating on Oscar a little bit? Was it Nicholas? That was I don't know. He said like he's not seeing the real her, or she's not seeing the real him, or something like that.
Yeah, she said that, or he said that she hadn't seen like all the sides of him yet. So I guess obviously being in the pods, like in the men's quarters, they get to see a lot more of somebody. So he must have like.
Nicholas has like a little thing for Alicia?
I didn't really get that vibe. I think he was just being honest. Like he probably saw stuff in the men's area that like he is concerned about. But
that's maybe. Fair. And I mean, obviously he was right because now we're starting to see it in the previews that that might be true. Do you think that other guy, I forgot his name, the blonde guy that looked like Colonel Sanders, like, do you think that he, with the blonde, all I remember is he has a blonde mustache, so it just gave me Colonel Sanders.
There's a lot of blonde going on.
There's a lot of blonde going on. Do you think that he would have been a better match for, because I think we're starting to see cracks in Alicia and Oscar.
Yes.
Like, I don't think they're as compatible as they seemed on the surface.
No, and I remember her saying in the pods, like, I'm very social and I like going out, and I kind of feel like that's not Oscar at all. And I think Tim definitely would be a better match for her.
Yeah, so. But I think Tim, when he said that whole thing, like, I kind of run away, I think that would scare any, like, why would you say that? Why would you say that? Like, oh, I kind of I run away from things, like, I'm going to avoid it, basically. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
why
he
would
was
you
like yeah, you're there to get married, so that's not the time to say that. So I think that scared her. And then,
I think Oscar just said you know what? He said what he had to say to win. Because remember, he was telling Millie, like, I could feel you pulling away, and I just wanted to win. Like, I wanted to win. So I feel like he did that with Alicia. Like, he just said what he needed to say, even though it's not truthful. Because it seems like he's kind of an avoidant. Actually, you know what I mean? Like,
I think it was him that said, like, I have to propose or I'll go home. So, like, I think he was looking at it as a competition, and he had to get someone to like choose him. So and now he's dealing with like, oh, now I'm engaged, and now his, like the other guy said, his true self is coming out, and it's not like what he sold in pods.
Yeah, how he was like. She was like, sometimes it's hard to read your face. And he's like,
like, he's like, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. And if you don't, oh, well. Like,
if you stick around.
That's for you to figure out. Like, what? Like, oh, no.
he's very blunt. I've seen some people online in comments, which I don't like when people do, so I don't want to like perpetuate it, but they've been like diagnosing him with things just based off his behaviors of like he's very blunt and very like, so that can be like people who I can't remember the words they use, but they were trying to diagnose him with things based off how he's acting. But sometimes I think people just they're just blunt. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have a diagnosis of any kind.
He's blunt, but he's also strange. Like, he's socially awkward. He's blunt. He's strange. He's avoidant. He's just awkward. And like and that doesn't work for somebody like Alicia, who is like more outgoing and more like fun and more. I know we do see in the upcoming episodes that she does end up meeting up with Tim. So I'm curious to see how that interaction is going to go, but I don't think that they're going to make it either.
No. I think, I want to see how it goes with Tim. I think that'll be better for her, for sure.
Yeah.
So should we move on to Yakob? I know you don't want me to say it that way.
Out of respect for the culture, I want to call his ass Jacob. Jacob.
That's how it's spelled, but yeah.
That's how it's spelled, but my American ass will just say Yakob because I don't want to offend anybody.
We're probably still not doing it right, but Yakob, I think that's how they said it on the show.
Okay, Karolina hates Yakob.
Yes.
She hates him and she can't even freaking hide it.
So at first I was like concerned, like what is she not finding attractive about him? Because she wasn't really
his
saying.
Colorful suits. No, I'm just Why? Why not wearing suits?
Yeah, and there could be a lot of reasons, but I was like, she's not really describing what it is, what's going on here, because she seemed like really wanting to find love, and this guy seemed to like her. So, but then at the meetup, she was like, none of these guys are my type. So I'm like,
what is her
picky.
type? She's just super picky. Like, what would your type be? Because I feel like of all the guys, there's like a different, and again, there's no I don't think that there's any problem with preference. Like when people be like getting mad at people for having a preference, it's like, what is your type then? Because there's a flavor of the rainbow in all 5 of these guys. So like, I would be very curious to see what Carolina's type is, because
if your type is that picky and specific, like maybe this is not the right show for you, because the odds of getting that type, if you have a very specific type, is rare. So that was a big gamble for her to take, because there was like a different looking guy, and some guys are handsome, so I don't know what she was looking for. She never really specified, but I was shocked to see, because the way she acted in the pods was, she's crying a lot and like really I don't want to say desperate. That's not nice.
She
but
seemed
like
desperate and dramatic. Like she gave me Chelsea, like how Chelsea was all like sweaty and like all that. Like it was like when she was like in the pods, like all on the ground and all. I was like, this girl's annoying me. Like this girl is annoying me. But she just seems, I don't know.
And that guy, like Yakob, straight up lied to her, and she still picked him. So I'm like, she must be like really into him. So for her I was shocked at the reveal when she was like immediately, no, like this is not for me. And like,
she couldn't even fake it for a second.
No, she could not get out of that reveal room fast enough. They were like, okay, bye. And then that one scene where he's like pawing at her face and she like looks like, please stop touching me.
She's icked out by him. Like, you can tell, like, when he goes to touch her, she's like, like, you know what I mean? Like, she's totally icked out by him. Like, she doesn't want him to even touch her.
Stressed. Yeah, she's like, what did I do?
She's always sweating. She's always, like, breathing extra hard. And, like, he was weird. Like, we have to talk about him in this Emilia and her situation. Because I think the edit, we saw 2 different things happen. Like, because when you really pay attention to what's being said, in my opinion, and again, taking the edit into consideration, he said to Karolina, you're the first person I'm sharing this with in this much detail. That's what he said. Yeah. He didn't say, you're the first person I'm sharing this with. He said, in this much detail. And then we hear him give another element to the story of the taxi and the knife. And then the drug use or whatever at 15, where we only heard him tell Amelia about the drug use at 15.
Yeah.
That's not to say he didn't share the taxi story with her as well, but he said in this much detail. And I think that certain things he was saying to Karolina, she was hearing what she wanted to. Because I heard him say when she was like, would ask, like, am I your number one? Or he would say, you're my special one. He never said you're my number one. So I think that he was playing both sides. Like he was like, he was, he was double dipping. But I'm like, when you really pay attention to what he was saying, he wasn't saying what she was hearing, in my opinion.
That's true. Yeah. She was kind of like hearing what she wanted to hear and kind of like, I was happy that the girls like talked about what each had said, because usually they don't share that stuff and they kind of like keep quiet who they're talking about. So I thought, I don't know, what do you think about Emily like leaving like that? You think that was warranted, or
I think it was warranted. I felt like it was warranted because he was like playing both sides of the fence. Like he doesn't know how to like make a decision and stand on it. Like he would go in the room with Emily and be like, yes, like I feel great, this is great, we're gonna ride off into the sunset, and then he would be like, go to Karolina and be like, this is great, like we're gonna ride off to the sunset. So I do think that if he had that conversation with Amelia, he probably would have said something that's like, no, it is you, it's always been you, like, and I think it would have just left him more confused. You know what I mean? So I just think he didn't know how to just make a decision and stand on it. But I don't think it mattered what the hell. Like, it almost is like Karolina like flew over the fact that he like told her, I didn't share this with any, like when she called him out on it and said, you told me you didn't share this with anybody else, and you did. Like he kind of just went off into his little poem and she forgot all about it. Like I was like, okay, so what the hell does this poem have to do with you saying that she didn't like he just said like,
let's rewind.
Like like he just kind of went off and said like, what did he say? Like, oh yeah, like it was really hard, I didn't feel right about it, like I didn't feel right about telling Amelia, and that's why I had to run and tell you. And it's like, so what does that have to do with you saying that you didn't tell nobody else and you actually did tell somebody else? Like, rather you felt it was right and that's why you told me or not, like you still lied. Like she just let him wiggle out of it. But she got the man, so I guess that's what she wanted.
I was gonna say she's probably wishing that she left then, because I don't think she's that happy. Although at the very end, did you think they seemed? Yeah, she seemed to come around a bit. So
she seemed like she was coming around. I was just gonna say that, like she seemed icked out, disgusted by it, and like there's a comment that Yakob made that I wrote down that I like wanted to address, where he compared himself to some egg,
Kinder egg. I wrote that down too.
A Kinder egg, and he said, "I'm dark on the outside and white in my soul."
Yeah, what
the fuck does that mean, Yakob? Like that's what is white? Does he mean pure? Does he mean like white, like pure?
This could be one of those cultural things where we don't know what that means.
Girl, like, I turned on the subtitles, I turned on the captions, I turned on everything. Like, okay, like maybe he didn't say what I think he said, or maybe it's not translating the way it comes off.
Look, I literally wrote here, I don't know if you can see it, but it says Kinder egg, because I was like,
I literally wrote,
what?
Dark on the outside, question mark, white in my soul,
put question mark. Yeah, I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I'm good. Somebody who speaks the language, maybe it translated wrong, and maybe he meant pure in my soul. Yeah, we might be misreading it. So
maybe, but I wrote it. I wrote that down because I thought it was very, very weird. Yeah. But I did think that. It seemed like.
I just remembered you don't have Kinder eggs in the States, do you? We have them here in Canada, but I think they're banned in the States apparently because they're too dangerous. I think they have like tiny little toys that kids can choke on, but I guess we don't care in Canada. So. Do you know what they are?
These Kinder Joys?
Yeah, they're like the little egg.
We have.
Or do you have them?
Yeah, we have them here. They're not going to ban anything here. You can get anything here. You think they care about kids choking out here? They don't. Yeah, we have them in stock
You
at CVS down the street. Yeah.
All this time, my country has been lying to me, saying these are special and that you can't get them in the States. And now
you sure can from CVS. Right?
I was going to say.
I can actually get it delivered in 10 minutes.
A mini Yakob.
Yeah, look, it gets a little toy in it. Like, yeah.
That's so funny. Okay, well, yeah, that would be a random thing to ban out of, like you said, all the things.
All the poison that they feed us. Like, but that Kinder Egg is where we draw the line.
No tiny toys. Yeah, I mean, I did get a few comments of people saying that, I think he probably meant what we think he meant, but I don't know what he's trying to say. So I'm sure he's probably addressed it somewhere, so we'll look into that. Or maybe he hasn't.
It's the pastel suits for me. Like, whoa.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Like, who in their right mind has a pastel purple suit? Like, are you a pimp? Like, I just don't know what's going on. Like, what is happening here? Like,
oh my gosh.
Like, so I can get that being an ick, but I feel like, or in the colored glasses, like there was somebody in Germany too that wore the colored glasses. I was like, maybe this is like a cultural thing. I don't know. Like, but why are we wearing colored glasses? But to me, it did seem like Karolina was coming around to him at the end.
Yeah. When he was like holding her in the pool and she was like
holding his leg during the massage. She was letting him give her a massage because I would be like somebody that icks you out, like them giving you a massage is like, I'd rather roaches be crawling all over me. Like, don't touch me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So it did seem a little better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I could see them being like the dark horse and then end up marrying and all these other people don't, because sometimes that's what it takes. Like, you see them and you're like, I'm not attracted, but then you get to know them and you can kind of come around. So I could see that happening with them.
Right.
But I don't know if
that would be like a really cute love story. Like, but I don't know, like, because as much as you would like to believe love is blind, physical attraction is important. Like, you have to there's got to be something that you're physically attracted to, because I'm not gonna lie, there's this guy in my life that is so nice to me, Ashley. Like, he is the sweetest thing. Like, he would probably worship the ground I walked on, and he's a close friend of, you know, my family and friend group or whatever, and I know he has like a little crush on me, but he's not my physical type at all, in the slightest, nothing. And it's like, even how nice he is to me, even how kind he is to me, even how sweet he is to me, nothing's like making me feel the attraction. You just don't have that.
And that's how it is.
I do feel like you have to have something. And she doesn't seem like there's anything with Yakob.
Yeah. And sometimes, no matter how good someone is for you and like, you know, you should be with them, but you just don't have that, like, the fireworks, the butterflies. So you have to have
Does that stuff grow? Like, can that
I think it can.
Later?
I think it can, but it's probably rare. Like, it's like the exception and not the rule. So it's hard to bank on it, but I mean, we'll see what happens.
I always see all these TikTok videos that are like, ladies, stop going for the guy that's your type. Like, give the guy who's not your type, like, a chance. Like, give the short guy a chance. Like, that's going to be your husband. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like...
That's the same. I have friends like that where it's like, you know, they get their heart broken and I'm like, well, maybe not the, like, tattoo drug dealer this time.
Yeah! Like, tattoo drug dealer probably doesn't equal...
Find someone with a job that, like, seems like a good person, but no, that's not what they're attracted to, so...
Right, but and there's, like, type... realistic, and then there's type, like, come on girl, like, you're never gonna find love with a tattoo drug dealer, but it's like something like,
not that tattoos are bad. I have 4, so I'm not saying I
love a tatted man, but I also don't look at a tatted man and be like, we're gonna get married. Like, I just don't think that. Not and that's me prejudging people with tattoos, but I just don't. Now, this guy, like, the guy I'm talking about specifically, like, he's shorter, like, he's, like, the same height as me, like, with heels, I'd be 4 inches taller than him. Like, there's, like, nothing that I'm, like, physically attracted to, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's really, there has to be some level, like, oh, I like his hair or eyes or something, you know?
It's hard to force yourself, so.
And she doesn't seem attracted to him at all. Karolina doesn't seem attracted to Yakob at all.
I think she's trying, but it's going to be really hard for her to.
But we'll see, because it looks like, and maybe they just gave us a little edit to give us some hope. But if you had to call it right now at episode 4, do you think Yakob and Karolina are going to make it?
No, I don't. No,
okay.
I'm like I could. Yeah, I'm like no. I hope that they do, but I don't really know if I could see it happening.
Oh, you didn't watch Germany, but okay.
So,
so they're not going to make it. Next up, we have
Natalie and Victor.
Victor. No, it's spelled like Victor, pronounced Victor.
Yeah.
What do you think of them? Because I think they're both super cute.
I think
they're both super cute. I think they're both attractive people. Mm-hmm. But the reveal was like what's wrong with her?
Both of their personalities are just very blah, and so I think they're both really attractive people, and I think they're kind of used to both being with someone, like he said, someone really outgoing and energetic, and then I think the balance works, right? But they're both
like me and you.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
our balance works. You know?
Yeah, like you can't have two really quiet people in the relationship, because like that dinner they had, it was painful, and it was just like them awkwardly sitting there, and then it's just I don't know if they're both used to like relying on their looks because they're both pretty attractive, or I don't know what's going on. Like I think she's 25, 26, like maybe just like a little bit young, but or the cameras, like people have asked before why they cut some couples, and it's because they're like that on camera. Like it's not that they're boring, like no drama, it's just that they literally cannot get comfortable with the camera there. They can't be themselves, and you don't get anything that you can use. So I feel like in the US one, they probably wouldn't have even showed them because the conversations are painful. They got a little more comfortable in like the hot tub or pool or whatever, but that's what's weird to me, is because I'm watching their interactions and their reveal. I was like, oh, I thought it went well. They seem attracted to each other. But then she went back after the reveal and was like complaining. So I was like, what's her deal? Like, is she not attracted to him? And then all of their interactions are really painful to watch. Like, it's very uncomfortable. And then you see them in the pool, like they're like, I'm like, okay, no, they're into each other physically, because you see them kissing, and you see them like, it's almost like when they don't have anything to say, they just kiss each other, because it's like, oh, and then you hear her talking to Karolina, and she's like, yeah, like things are great, like we're great, like everything's working out. So I was like, okay, yeah, they're good, like they're good, like I'm misreading this, and then I'm like, no, I'm not misreading this. The conversation is so awkward, and like he said, we're just too alike. Like, we're too alike. I'm used to having someone a little bubbly to carry or bring that out of me. And she's probably used to the same thing. Like, I need somebody a little bit more bubbly to bring it out of me. And then it's like, you're not bringing it out of each other. So you guys are just there, and it's just boring, and it's just weird, and it's just awkward. But at least y'all both fine. You know what I mean? And I will add that it seemed like Ola was a little attracted to her. Like he was staring. He liked what he saw. Yeah. He likes her hair, I guess. So.
So that's all. That's it. Like, that's all I got to say. Like, so boring, painful to watch.
I can't even, like, when you first meet someone, that's when you, like, have the most to talk about, and, like, they should be nonstop talking, and, like, to be awkward and not have anything to say, like, how would they have, like, a long marriage like
how
that?
How do you guys talk? Like, I'll never understand how you guys can talk in the pods for hours upon hours upon hours upon hours, but then when you get in each other's face, it's like that one couple, American boy.
Oh yes, the flag guy.
The flag guy.
JP and
Taylor. Like, I guess it's kind of the same thing, but just like
it might
awkward.
just be nerves too. Like, in front of each other, they're nervous, or with the cameras, and maybe when the cameras are off and they're alone, they're better, and they just get really awkward on camera. But it's weird, because they do seem to be like the most attractive couple, and you think they would be like full of confidence, and they just seem very awkward. So
so if you had to call it right now, up to episode 4, do you think that Natalie and Victor are gonna make it?
I could see them making it. I think maybe if they get more comfortable with each other and they meet each other's families and they really start to be themselves, and if there is any more personality there that we're just not seeing, I could see it happening. So if I'm going to bet on anyone, I'll pick them. But
okay, I'm going to say no. I have no hope. I have no faith in anyone at this point. And then last but not least, we have Nicholas and
Karen.
I was like, I know it's not Karen. I know it's something else. Karen.
Yeah.
I think they're super cute. Now, this is a couple I'm banking on. This is a couple that I think is like every season we get our boring, unproblematic couple. I'm going to give that star to them.
Yeah, I could see them making it. I mean, he opened up about his ADHD with her, and she had really good answers. And I think different than Natalie and Victor, they are opposite. So I think they complement each other well. Like she's very steady and calm, and he's a little bit more out there. And I think they're a good balance. Yeah,
I think so too. I think that there are our little couple that's not going to give us any problems, even though I think we do see some stuff coming up in the previews.
Yeah.
I think they're cute. I think they match well. I think they're good. I think they're a good match. I literally have nothing to say about it.
He looks like there's a guy that was on Game of Thrones, if you watch that. And
yes, I watch Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. I just posted a picture on my Instagram, but he looks like the guy with the long hair. You know, the guy, I don't remember what the character's name was now. But
let me go look on your Instagram.
Okay.
Let me go look on
live reaction. But he looks like someone I know, and I couldn't think of it. And then I was like, oh, the Game of Thrones guy. There wasn't very many cute guys on there, but he was.
Corbin needs to find the pictures between. Oh, yeah, he does look like him, but I don't know what his character is.
I forget what the name was. It's been so long since I watched it, but that was who I was thinking of. Yes, that guy.
Yeah, he does look
maybe
like
it's just the hair. I mean, they got the same hair.
No. It's the hair, it's the beard, it's the no, they look alike for sure.
Yeah, he's a handsome guy, and she's a beautiful girl. I think they
live right by each other.
Yeah, they have the best shot. I think you're
the best shot. I think they have the best shot of anybody. Yeah. So right now, so far, I only think that Karen and Nicholas are going to get married. I don't see anyone else. Maybe Alicia leaves Oscar and gets with
Tim.
And maybe them, but I don't know because I haven't seen their dynamic yet. But everyone else seems doomed. Everyone else seems doomed.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them, but we'll see.
Yeah. So we're going to do we're going to do episodes 5, 6, and 7 in our midweek episode.
Yeah.
Right? And so we'll have a better understanding because I think new episodes drop when? I
think on Wednesday, on the 27th.
What day is it even? Okay, it's Thursday. Today's the 21st.
Okay.
So Thursday. New episodes drop Thursday. So.
Yeah, so we'll come back in a couple of days with episodes 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, and so we'll see. And you have we have an unseen couple that we're going to cover on Thursday.
Yeah.
From Love Is Blind Sweden. And we'll obviously circle back on any Temptation Island reunion or whatever they are supposed to be having podcast episode. And then we will.
And we got a new show coming up to talk about, which features some very interesting previous Netflix people like Irina. Remember Love Is Blind?
Yes, we got some villains in there. That's going to be fun. So make sure you guys catch us Thursday. We'll tell you guys what that show is, and make sure that you guys are going to follow along and watch with us. And we'll catch you guys on Thursday.
See you in a couple days. Thanks for coming.